This week, The Sun's Clemmy Moody dropped a bombshell expose on Katie Price's husband, Lee Andrews. Clemmy revealed that she was scammed out of £1,000 by Lee after the pair became friends through Katie. But the story goes much deeper. Clemmy also revealed that Interpol is searching for Lee following an escalation by Hertfordshire police. But in his last text to Katie, Lee claimed he had been bundled into a van, detained and taken to a black site. Clemmy Moody and Ellie Henman have spearheaded this investigation since January. Today, they join me to answer your burning questions on the Lee Andrews mystery. Clemmy, tell us about what happened to your £1,000 investment.
Well, that is the burning question. I befriended Lee Andrews through my pal Katie. I really liked him, genuinely thought he was a good guy. We were texting, WhatsApping, sending memes. We were going to do a High Rocks in Abu Dhabi together. It was all great. And then I happened to mention that I was quite rubbish with money. Obviously, I knew through Ellie's great work that he had a bit of a reputation for being perhaps dodgy. And, you know, some women claim that he has scammed them. So I wanted to see what he said. And sure enough, he suggested I went into this investment with him.
It was absolutely wild because based on everything that Ellie has uncovered already on Lee, did you actually believe you were going to get your money back?
Genuinely, I went into it with an open mind. But that being said, I was very conscious of what women had been saying. And, you know, I have a platform, these women don't. And once it became apparent that perhaps I was not going to be seeing this money and, you know, it was getting a bit dodgy, I just thought, I have to expose it. It's our job to expose wrongdoing. And I believe he did wrong.
And the current situation is you've not heard back from Lee to any of your chasing questions about the whereabouts of said £1,000.
Yep, tragically, my last 10 messages have gone unresponded to.
What a surprise.
Ellie, does Katie actually believe, after all of the red flags, that he's actually going to come to the UK?
I think Katie's bananas if she ever thinks he's going to make it here. He's got a travel ban. I don't know how many more times we have to say it. She has self-confirmed he had a travel ban. She knows he can't leave Dubai. I think now she believes he's, you know, been detained, kidnapped in the back of a van. There's more chance of him turning up in Dubai because he can't leave Dubai.
No, I think she hopes he's getting a boat to Amman and then sailing across and romantically going to have a reunion with her. She genuinely loves this man.
I don't know how, after everything you've done for her as a friend, highlighting this, and how she can still love him.
Love is love. Love is blind.
She's blind.
I'm going to throw to some of our readers' questions now. Alison says, when does Lee's travel ban expire?
So we don't know when Lee's travel ban expires. We looked into this a great deal since we found out about it back in January that he couldn't leave Dubai. And ultimately, the travel bans are put in place. It could be for a variety of reasons, whether it's a ongoing police investigation or if you're in debt, for example. These bans can be indefinite. So it's only when the issue is resolved. And as so far, we know that he's had this ban since at least 2025. I spoke to his mum earlier this week who said he's not been back in the UK for 4 years. So it would suggest this travel ban has been there for a long time. And given Lee Andrews is still in Dubai, I think we're looking at an indefinite term at the minute.
Do we actually believe that Lee Andrews is being held at black site?
No. You go first.
We know that Katie believes that. And I've just said about believing the women. So we have to take her at face value. Indeed, she has shown me the receipts. I've got the text messages from Lee, quite frantic, late at night, last Wednesday, overnight, Thursday morning, you know, saying, babe, I love you. I'm in the back of a van. I've been arrested. No, I haven't. I'm going to a black site. You know, it's all very muddled. It's all very...
The thing is, this man, as we know, is a swindler. He's a con artist. He's con Jew. The fact that we know before that he's bragged about claiming to work for MI5, the fact that he's now suggesting that
well, if he does work for MI5, that's why he's going to a black site, perhaps.
He's been kidnapped and taken to a CIA site, a black site. It's ludicrous. He's literally writing the script to the next chapter of his scam. I feel so sorry for Katie because I think she's being taken in by it all. And obviously who, if they wouldn't receive those messages, would believe them? Of course you would. But I'm telling you now, that man was not detained. He wasn't in the back of a car. So many people have pointed out as well. If your hands are cable tied, quite hard to use your phone.
This takes us on to Anne's question. Clemmy, does Katie know more than she's letting on for, or is she being fooled?
I don't think Katie Price is a fool, but I think she is very much, you know, in thrall still to her husband, and she wants to make this work and she wants desperately to see the best in him. And I think she is blind to what he has done in the past. You know, she was mortified when I told her what happened to my money. And I think her concern now is just to get him home safe, and then she can ask some questions.
Get him back to Dubai safe, because he ain't never coming home. Sorry, Lee.
Well, there did seem to be a glimmer of hope, because Louisa Zisman claimed that Lee was active on his Facebook in recent days. Clemmy, what do we know about this?
Well, we can reveal that, in fact, I'm told that it was actually Katie on Lee's Facebook, because they have each other's accounts, passwords, full transparency. And I think she was looking for clues. So that is mystery solved.
I quite like that she's got his password, though.
It's nice that they're trusting. That was one of the things she said, I've seen all of his phone, there's full transparency, got each other's passwords.
She's seen one of his phones.
Right, on to money.
I'm sorry, I just can't.
Not his burner phone.
Not his burner phone or the many other phones he uses, because he has numbers for so many different people, but there you go.
Right, Net asks, I know that Katie's supposed to be bankrupt twice over, but did she sign a prenup? Did he sign a prenup?
They did not sign a prenup. I would argue that Katie is very ADHD by her own admission, and the paperwork for that would be overwhelming. No way would I sign a prenup. Not that I have any money to give away. So she did not.
She's quite shrewd, though, isn't she? She's not daft. I think you, from speaking to her, she assured you she hasn't given him a penny. I think she's not. I think she's a fool in love, as you said, but I don't think when it comes to money, she's not daft.
Yeah, if they split up now, she will go out with what she came in with.
Another money question from Barbara. Who is paying for Katie's flights? Where do they stay in Dubai? Has she been to his actual house?
So I would say, who's paying for Katie Price's flights?
I'm paying for a drink on that flight.
Well, I was about to say, it's the other women. So what we believe, and I strongly believe from the start of this, is that Lee robs Peter to pay Paul. So he gets money from various women and they end up paying for his next exploit. And that's never been disproven. It all just adds up. I think he constantly uses a flow of cash that he gets in from other women like Clemmy who invest into his schemes, and they probably paid for Katie Price's business class flights. Where do they stay? We know they stay in a rented serviced apartment. Clemmy uncovered brilliantly that the £36 million house he bought in cash was a rental. He never bought it. He just faked the paperwork. And he normally has a little bedroom in his dad's house in Dubai. That multi-billionaire Lee Andrews lives in his dad's bedroom.
What did Lee do as a job in the UK before he moved to Dubai? Asked James.
So we know that Lee had a number of businesses over here that weren't as successful, unsurprisingly, as he might have hoped. He was just a businessman trying his hand. He was a bit of a jack of all trades. He then went to King's Trust. Oh no, he didn't work for the King's Trust.
Did he work for the Labour Party?
No, sadly not.
Did he? What else did he?
Probably the answer's a lie.
Right.
His whole CV was completely inflated, which our brilliant Dan Kane really held him to account and got Lee to admit that.
And he didn't go to Cambridge University.
Didn't go to Cambridge University. Claims he has 2 theses published, but doesn't. Like, the whole thing's an absolute sham and a farce. So he went over to Dubai, opened his next business, which women were investing in. I then revealed it was dissolved in 2024. So you're investing just in Katie Price's business class flights. There is no investment scheme here. He claims to run a sustainable vehicle company.
Aura.
Yeah, it's just rubbish.
One person who has met Katie that's close to her is Kerry Katona. Her and her lovely boyfriend Paolo went over. Maria asks, what happened at that beach club between them all?
So I took a phone call about this shortly after that holiday had ended, and I know that Kerry and Paolo were there on holiday. They were completely separate to Katie, and that Katie and Lee went to their hotel to go and see them. And it was there that an altercation happened. Now, from what I understand, Paolo saw Lee being what appeared to be quite verbally abusive. So stepped in. So this is someone who was watching this all play out. This whole thing played out in public at a hotel pool. There were so many people watching. So then, by the sounds of it, Paolo stepped in. Lee's then got aggressive and eventually ended up thumping him in the face. Paolo then was seen leaving. It was just a mess. I mean, the fact that they were such close friends, and then her boyfriend punches Kerry's, it's wild.
Are they still following one another on Instagram?
They are. I think that, for me, I think Kerry adores Katie. She's very much like you. She will always be there for her when she needs her. But I think right now, I don't think many people agree with her relationship with Lee, because everyone is gravely worried. So I think maybe she just took a step back. But I know they are still friends.
Karen asks, what do Lee's family think of his behaviour, as they seem to condone it, as he has done the same thing countless times? Do they not care what this will do to Katie Price's mental health? No one deserves that, no matter what.
So I think Lee's mum earlier this week, like Katie, was really concerned for her son. and, you know, issued a sort of plea to the kidnappers of, please bring my son home, because she's just as in the dark as anyone else. His sister has been furiously denying any claims, allegations made by us. Alana Percival has been furiously trying to, you know, defend him and say he's not a con artist. He's not done any of this. He has. Sadly, it's just your brothers are wrong, and that's a really difficult thing to come to terms with. As for his dad, we're told quite disappointed that it's just a big mess. But ultimately, if it's your son, you're always going to defend him to the hilt, aren't you? But yeah, sorry, your son's a knob.
Timothy asks, was it pure arrogance that made him think that he could keep ripping off women, or stupidity?
I mean, he's got some gall to rip off the assistant editor of the Showbiz and one of his wife's pals, I would say. I mean, is he stupid? Well, he's pulled the wool over a lot of people's eyes. And I think we've lifted, you know, the lid, the curtain on what it's like to be conned. And I know firsthand how charming this man is and how he ingratiates himself. You know, he's asking questions about my parents. We were sending supportive, like, gym photos. We were, you know.
This is exactly what he does, though, to all the other women I've spoken to, and I didn't even know he'd done that to you. What he does is he'll find out little things about your life and he'll remember them. So he'll remember you about your parents. So he'll remember you were doing this the other day. He did that with all of them.
He has that knack of making you feel very seen and special, I would say, which I can see why women fell for it.
I actually think he's so arrogant.
But I mean, he's not living in a palace, is he? So he hasn't done that well in his scamming.
But he thought he'd be able to get away with it. He's just so arrogant. I don't think he's thick. I think he is thick.
He speaks lots of languages.
Yeah, struggles. Muddled his way through Urdu and a bit of Russian. I don't claim to speak it because I don't tell lies. I think the man's a mad narcissist who honestly believed he would get away with it. And actually it was only when you've done your thing and the previous work we've done on it that people have started to realise. Because all we wanted to do was get to a point where if you Google this man's name, it will show you that he does scam women out of money. That's all we wanted to do, is make people realise.
I think his MO has become very apparent from this investigation, and, you know, using ChatGPT to make these ridiculous, you know, financial documents, and how he has got away with that, or how he thinks that's convincing.
He's been doing this for months.
Does Lee think we're all as daft to believe all of this?
He genuinely thinks we believe this. I think maybe in his head, where he's hiding out in Dubai, it might be starting to unravel. But I think he genuinely believes everything he says. I think he's so deep in this lie, he can't get out of it. He's, you know, when we said to him, we went to Kim Kardashian's team and said, this photograph of Kim and this man, has she ever met him? No, absolutely not. She's never met him. She wasn't even at that place. We took that claim back to Lee. It is true. I work with Kris Jenner all the time. She tried to pay me. She said I had to pay millions to keep the photo up. He's nuts.
Like double down.
He doubles down on everything. You know, and we'll have to say Lee denies all the allegations. What a surprise. He denies everything, because I don't think that man understands anymore what is truth, what's fact and what's fiction.
I think, you know, narcissists, they say they start to believe their own lies sometimes. And I genuinely think he probably does believe the that comes out of his mouth. And, you know, that's worrying. And, you know, when you've got someone who's impressionable and wants to love and loves love like Katie does, that combination ain't good.
What has Lee said about all these claims?
Well, obviously, I went to Lee before running our story, put it all to him. You know, I got a single grey tick. He is unable, apparently, to respond to these allegations or deny them himself, but previously he has denied every single allegation against him.
And he's done that in rigorous interviews with The Sun and other outlets, hasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Lee would say, my money is coming, there's just been a delay, and that, you know, in 4 weeks' time, I'm going to have £13,000 sitting in my bank account. So maybe it'll still come.
Lee would deny the sky is blue. Let's be frank.
No, I still hope that I might get my £13,000, £14,000, £15,000.
Clemmy, you're never going to get it, I'm afraid.
Imagine if she did, though.
Bye, guys.
But she's not. She's not. You're never going to see a penny. Like Crystal Yang never saw any penny. That 123 grand. I check in with her. Still nothing. Nothing. You're never getting your money back. I'm really sorry, mate.
Last one. People sometimes have a poor opinion of Katie on this. Is this a scam for an upcoming documentary about Katie manipulating the press?
I'm sure she will have documentary offers flooding in, but this is not a scam. She is not in on it. I would stake another £1,000 on the fact that she is not in on a con. And she is, you know, I mean, her argument is that she's not lost a penny. He's not robbed her. You know, she is still struggling to believe this man is who we are saying he is. I'm sure she might eventually. She's smart, no one beats the pricey. I'm sure she will profit from this monetarily. I think there is money to be made from it if she's smart. But also she's a real person with real feelings, and she's got to process what has happened over the last 4 or 5 months and come to terms with it. And then she can think about her future. And she's got her own family back here to look after and think about. And she's trying her hardest just to crack on and keep going.
I think that sometimes with Katie Price, you've got almost like 3 alter egos all at the same time. There's Katie that loves him. Don't underestimate the Pricey. That's like, how dare this man do this to me? And then there's Jordan that's been in this industry forever and knows how things work. And that's hard to juggle those characters, I guess.
And a mum. And she's got Harvey, and she's an incredible mum to Harvey. And she's got all of these, as you say, things going on.
That's all the questions we have time for today. But remember to keep up to date on all the latest news on The Sun's website and across our digital platforms.